I want to just clarify for folks who are watching at home, the Government Accountability Office is a nonpartisan government agency. It's part of Congress, it's part of the legislative branch, and your job is to audit, evaluate, investigate, and to provide recommendations as a congressional watchdog, both to Congress and to the executive branch, correct?
That's correct.
And what you do every year as part of your work is produce this high-risk list. And this year, the one you're presenting to us today includes 38 areas that you've identified that, as you just said in your testimony, would save money, help ensure the health and safety of the American public, and help to build trust in our federal agencies. And I want to briefly talk about some of the things that appear on this list. In fact, as you mentioned in your testimony, the first thing on here is the improvement of delivery of federal disaster assistance. That's FEMA. Second is improvements in surface transportation. We've got HHS and Public Health Services, Department of the Bureau of Prison improvements. There's a bunch of DOD recommendations here about improving contracting and business practices, improving small business administration, resolving federal housing finance issues through HUD, EPA issues around environmental liability. There's national nuclear security on here, enforcing tax laws, including the IRS, improving certain FDA and DOI programs, improving VA service, CMS programs, and also the regulation of the financial regulatory system. And all of these things really are about the transformation of how the federal government provides services. And I heard you just say to Mr. Lynch as well as to Mr. Khanna that with respect to some of the specific programs that were asked about, that the just indiscriminate elimination of funding and staffing for these programs would not only fail to actually resolve the issues that you guys have identified, but potentially make them worse. Is that correct?
That's a possibility.
Yes. So, you know, obviously there's been a lot of conversation today in this committee about the actions that are being taken pursuant to DOGE by Elon Musk, and this indiscriminate funding freezes that is happening, the dismantling of these programs, the hacking of federal data, and the mass firings. And we know that there's more that are planned for this week. But unfortunately, we don't exactly know what Elon Musk has actually been up to because he won't come to this committee. And in fact, our Republican colleagues have shielded him from having to appear. But he did appear over the weekend at CPAC at their political action event that was held here in the Washington area. And, you know, here he is. He was wielding a chainsaw with the Argentinian leader. And I'll just say, you know, as somebody who grew up working construction, I know what two dudes who don't know what to do with a chainsaw look like. But it's also obvious that these guys actually don't also know how to manage a federal government and how to address high-risk areas where we actually do need to address issues of waste, fraud, and abuse. And in fact, because I worked at OMB, I know that not only are they not addressing these issues, they're looting the federal government and breaking the law daily. And this recklessness has really severe consequences, as was just outlined by some of the other commentary already. But I want to note some of the human impacts. In my district, I was just home this weekend. We heard from tribal college teachers who were fired, VA employees who are not able to help support the veterans that they work with. A colleague of mine who was told this week that his PTSD counseling would be canceled. Tribal justice programs that pay for cops had their funding frozen. I mean, the reality is that this guy right here, who is an unelected billionaire, is literally looting the federal government right now, and he has no idea what he's doing. He's not even addressing the fundamental problems that have been identified by our nonpartisan watchdog. So, you know, I want to be clear also that the Republicans, as of today, we took a break right before this committee, went and voted on a rule to advance a tax package that would make these cuts permanent to pay for a permanent tax break for billionaires. So what these guys are up to is not about government efficiency. It's about looting the American people in the Treasury to pay for billionaire tax cuts. With that, I yield back.